Yeah,
Awesome.
man.
All right. Well, this is great, man. I'm really excited about this. Ruth, when I met with Ruth, was really excited to introduce me to you, and yeah, have something like this where I can learn a little bit more about local hearts and what you guys are doing. But why don't you give me a little bit of your background, where you grew up, where you're from, and how you got here today to getting involved with local hearts, and how just give me the story a little bit if you don't mind.
Absolutely. So I was about 19, 20 years old, and I was in the music industry. I am originally from South Central Los Angeles, and my mother's Mexican, my dad's Korean. And a mutual friend in the music industry connected me with Tito Rodriguez, also known as the Hood Santa. And,
Right.
we did some work, some minor work, and then he hit me up and he said, you know what, HJ, like, come help me do this. Like, I'm gonna give I'm gonna give bread and clothes out to some of the homeless in nearby to just uplift them and boost your spirits. Why don't you come by? So it started off, friends and family. Tito leading the way as far as getting others involved to make donations and stuff, and then along the way, it just grew. Within the last 10 years, like literally within the last 5, it grew to what it is now, which is pretty surprising. Like if you come to our any of our events, you see a sea of people. If it's for Christmas, if it's for Thanksgiving, if it's for the back to school drive, and we don't really have a big following on social media, so it lets you know that we are so embedded in the community. Um,
Yeah.
so, man, that's just like a quick synopsis of how it came to be. Tito led the way; he invited me in, and then we just been building ever since.
What year was that then? It's been how long since you started it?
Um, I mean, before it wasn't
It
titled
wasn't
Local
really, yeah.
Arts. Yeah.
Right, right. It was
It
just you
was,
guys saying, "Hey, let's go out and get
exactly,
involved."
exactly,
Uh,
exactly. So that started,
like
almost 10
10
years
year,
ago.
10
Yeah.
years ago. I
Yeah. And then
gotcha.
officially like 2016, 2017, that's when it got serious. That's when we knew,
Gotcha.
okay, cool. Tito came up with the name Local Hearts. And then, I started designing the logo, and then I had some of my, sent the logo out to a couple other designers to bounce ideas. And then we came up with what we currently have. Um, it's crazy because we used to talk about, hey man, one day we'll be able to give the elderly turkeys where no elderly will not enjoy at Thanksgiving. And now, like when we see pallets of turkeys come for Thanksgiving, it's pretty awesome to see that. Went
That
from
is,
us
man.
dreaming and thinking about it to now having amazing volunteers and amazing sponsors and people who donate. And the people who donate are just regular people. I just want to make that clear. It's not, big corporations. It's people like you and I who
Right.
who who have seen the transformation, who have seen us grow. And a simple $20 goes a long way. A simple
And
$30.
that's your whole source of funding too, then, is
Yes,
it?
yes.
Right.
Our source of funding, it's um, the community.
Right.
We, we,
It
we
all comes.
have we have no grants. We have no major like big sponsors that spit up. That we literally are community driven, and
Yeah.
that's the beauty of it. And it's just amazing because it's the same community members that help us out, and in return we help them out, and then you start seeing a symbiotic relationship.
Hmm.
A great example would be Buyout Pedro. It was an event we did. Pedro, he's deaf, and
Hmm.
we did an event for him. Amazing event. Over 200 people showed up. They bought ice creams to support him. He's a Long Beach street vendor. He sells ice cream. So a
Gotcha.
couple weeks after that, we had our back to school drive, and Pedro was there, helping us out. So it just shows you how the people we help us out, and it's this
Right.
symbiotic relationship that throughout the years has been going on and on and on and on to where it's built now. And I'm excited to potentially hopefully work with Ruth more and be
Right.
able to structure ourselves and grow this organization to its full potential.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. You said you started in the music industry. What were you doing in the music industry as a
Yeah, let me
musician
show
yourself?
you.
Or
Let me show
yeah.
you. So here's a plaque.
Oh wow! Look at that, man! Number one Billboard. That
Yeah,
is awesome.
yeah.
Congrats.
So um, I mean, that right there is Nipsey
Yeah.
Hussle. So I
Okay.
started off, I was 18, 17 years old, and I started. Yeah, hey, let me show you. Actually, I can't take it off the wall. I got more stuff over here. I can't take it off. I forgot it's like jammed in there. But I started off working with recording artists with Game, Nipsey, Diddy,
As a producer?
as a videographer slash like content creator. It was
Okay,
at the
cool.
time 10 years ago, content creation was so new. So when I
Right.
graduated high school on Saturday, I went to go work for Snoop Dogg's manager on Monday at his agency, Cashmere
Wow.
Agency. So my career literally took off like this.
Yeah.
It took off, and because social media, like I grew up in social media, like I saw it, I learned it, and I was just so far ahead of the curve compared to the individuals graduating from college who majored in marketing, who had
Right.
no idea about hashtags and how to populate, different videos to make sure it populates on the side. These are all small things that I kind of learned through Facebook and MySpace, the MySpace days. So
Right.
when I got out of high school, I was already like so far ahead from all these people, which is a great blessing because
Yeah.
it jumpstarted my career. Um, what I mainly do is editing. Like I'm really,
Gotcha.
really good at editing, and I'm good at shooting videos, cinematography, which led me to live in Miami with Game for a couple months, which led me to work with
Wow.
Derulo. I mean, you name an artist, I've done something for their careers. Drake, I've done stuff for Drake. I've done stuff
Wow.
for DJ Khaled. I've done stuff for Game, for Diddy, for Nipsey, for I've done stuff for Beyonce. I've done stuff for Ludacris. The name goes on and on, and a lot of the stuff people don't know I worked on because I'll give you an example. Like this came in yesterday, and these are some really big clients. I can't tell you the clients, but I promise you, like these major clients that just dropped this off for me. So in a way,
Gotcha.
in the industry, I'm like I'm like the guy behind the scenes who just
The unsung hero, man.
yeah. So, and that's what I branded myself as, and and I secretly work on some big projects that I don't talk about because of crazy NDAs they make me sign. But
Right. Right.
once we get off this call, I could share a little bit more. But I've been very fortunate to have art as a career,
Yeah.
um, and I don't take it for granted. Every
Yeah.
moment I have that I could work on my career, I work as hard as I can. And with that same passion, I translate it over to Local Hearts. It has
Right.
allowed me to be creative. It has allowed me to share the platform, creating content, of sharing, what I know as far as marketing, as far as content creation and networking with other individuals within the organization that I'm mentoring now. So the
Right.
same passion that I have for art is the same passion I have for Local Hearts. And my partner in the foundation, Tito, expresses that same passion. Like, he's a diabetic who just doesn't stop.
Mm.
Like, he has this energy of like, let's make it happen. Uh,
Yeah.
and sometimes the goals are very, very ambitious. I mean, we don't know how we're going to do it, but somehow, some way, through the power of the higher powers above, like we make it happen.
Yeah.
And this has led for other big organizations to reach out and say, hey, how are you guys doing it? Who's funding you guys? Like, we basically, these other organizations have the funding, but they can't do the numbers we can.
Right.
So now they want to team up, which, we will love to team up with other organizations. But what we started noticing is that they're not really driven to serve the community. They're driven to
Right.
serve the numbers in order to hit the benchmarks for the grants. Um,
Right.
and we welcome it. At the same time, we also want to make sure that the community is served first.
Right. No, 100%, man. I love that. That's awesome. And so you met Tito. He's also involved in the music
Oh
industry as well then.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's sold millions of records. I mean, he's produced for Dre, for Snoop. I mean,
Okay.
he sold millions of records, man. Like he has plaques for days. I mean, he's an
Yeah.
icon. I don't know if you know this, but he actually has a mural in Long Beach.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah. He has
Okay,
a
I
mural in
gotcha.
Long Beach. Like he's the mayor of Long Beach, basically, man. Like everybody knows him, and he is he's an amazing person. I'm glad that I have him as a partner in Local Hearts.
Was it through Local Hearts that he became the Hood Santa? I know he's like the Hood Santa. Was that like before
Yeah.
Local Hearts, or did that like as
Uh,
Local Hearts and his like
so
contributions that he became that?
yeah, I believe the year was 2015-16. He went to go serve
Mm.
his family, and this little kid said, "You're the Hood Santa, because the real Santa doesn't come over here."
Yeah.
So that kind of just clicked, you clicked
It
for
clicked.
Tito, and Tito kept the name, and he's been going with it.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised, like little kids, like we were just in Long Beach last week, and little kids know him as the Hood, like Santa, the Hood Santa. you know, and it's summer, man. It was what, August, you know,
Right.
September, August. So it's like, you know,
Christmas came early.
exactly.
Yeah.
But they, you know, he has impacted their lives so much that that they just know him as the Hood Santa.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So, when you guys like first met, was that something that you talked about, or was it just kind of like he went with it and you're like, you tagged along, like, hey, I'm in on this. I want to be part of this kind of thing.
Yeah,
And now,
absolutely.
okay.
Serving, you know, I come from a family that serves. You know, my mom, she is an amazing person, and she, you know, if you ever go to Mexico, in the town she's from, she has impacted that town tremendously. So you know, serving is something that I don't have to think about. It's something that
Right.
it's a must
It,
for me. And
right.
the reason why is because I'm where I'm at in my career because of people who gave me opportunities, because I had the
Right.
right tools to get here. People that saw that I didn't have the right tools took a chance on me.
Hmm.
So, with that being said, I feel like I have an obligation to give the same opportunities to as many people as I can.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
No, that's so cool. I love what you guys are doing, man. I
Thank you.
love
Thank
hearing
you.
that, like what you're saying as well. It's so cool the involvement that you guys have in the community. Something that I'm trying to make a difference in. Like me, it's completely the opposite. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and I
What
moved
part
out to
of
LA.
yeah? What part of Ohio?
Columbus area, just north
Okay.
of small town called Mount Vernon, just north of Columbus.
Okay.
So yeah, so I moved out here kind of dream chasing. I was like, I actually want to get more involved in the music industry.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I wasn't sure exactly what that was going to look like, but yeah, I think coming back, I found a good church that I plugged into, that kind of really got me back on track with a lot of things, and just kind of felt this pressure on my heart to really do something and try and make a difference for the people that I care about as well, and then seeing where it goes from there. So it turned into me reaching out to some of my best friends and saying, hey, look, I was working in digital marketing. So I was working for a digital marketing agency. I was like, look, everything I've learned here, the best way to do this is to kind of build a brand that
Absolutely.
that can try and push and motivate people, and encourage people to do what it is that makes them happy in life, that puts them on Klowd9 essentially. So
Absolutely.
so
That's where the
yeah,
name came from.
that's where the name came from, man. It
Yeah.
definitely was. Yeah, it was the perfect name. Nine was always my favorite number. I played soccer growing up as well,
Okay.
and
Okay.
nine was my number in soccer, so I always loved it. And it worked out, man. So yeah, so we're in, and where you guys were maybe 5, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
No funding at all, just doing
Yeah.
what we can,
Yeah.
to try and make a difference, to try and
Yeah.
talk with people like yourself,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and get more involved, get plugged in, and see how we can help push and motivate people to get to that spot in life where
No,
they're on cloud
absolutely.
nine, you know.
Absolutely.
So
I think, you know, when people see the passion, when people see the commitment,
hmm
people are they're not sold on it. They want to be part of it. You know,
yeah,
there's no selling at that point. So I think that's the beauty of local hearts is people see how genuine this movement is. People see how
yeah,
genuine the people on the team are, and they just want to be part of it. You know, I want to
yeah,
say that, you know, it's contagious, to be honest with
it is, it
you. Yeah,
definitely is, man. I mean, yeah, it's passing good vibes, that energy. It's that
exactly,
feel good, and yeah, it recycles, it just
exactly.
it does. um let's talk about, like, is there any real big benchmarks for you, when you like first jumped into this, that you're like, whoa, this is really real now,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
either
Absolutely.
goals that you set that you accomplished, or just
Yeah,
things that happened, events that happened that really were
yeah,
like game changing for you.
yeah. Absolutely. Our first back to school drive, I believe it was 4 days before the event. We had made a commitment on social media that we were going to distribute 1,000 backpacks.
Okay, cool.
Um, as the date approached, we didn't have 1,000 backpacks. We didn't have 100 backpacks. We had about
Okay.
like 70 backpacks, but I mean, great backpacks with school supplies, like Jam Sport, like good stuff, right?
Right.
Um, so I remember emailing everyone I know, reaching out to everyone, and about at 2 or 3 in the morning, 2 days before the event, I get an email saying, uh, "I'll have 1,000 backpacks for you with school supplies from first grade to high school."
Okay.
So that was one of the biggest
From
blessings.
from
That
someone you knew, or just kind of
Yeah,
like random
it was
donation? Oh, okay.
it was my friend's mom.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Yeah, she has a nonprofit and she helps individuals, and I had reached out to her, and just how I reached out to countless people, never heard back. And at 2, 3 in the morning, you know, I'm stressed out because I'm like, man, like I gave my word, like I may have to go get a credit card, and we've done that before, you know, like in order to hit the benchmarks, we go out of our way
Right.
just to make sure that we do reach them. But you know, this was the first time that I knew deep in my heart, like if you set the goal, people will help you reach it.
Hmm.
So that was a point in my life that I felt um, that I experienced in Teleki, in the sense of like 1,000 isn't a big number. So then for Thanksgiving, that following year, for Thanksgiving, Tito was like, "Hey, we're gonna do 1,500 turkeys," and we're like, "Whoa!" And we're not talking about small turkeys; these are big turkeys. And I
Right.
remember hitting that benchmark. Um, and mind you, like in this industry, the music industry, the creative industry, the advertising industry, you're
Right.
working crazy hours.
Right.
So I remember working, you know,
That's
leaving the office at like 3 in the morning, getting a little bit of sleep, and then heading to to it's not Office Depot, it's not Home Depot, Restaurant Depot, to pick up turkeys. And I borrowed my dad's truck, and my dad's truck was like this, because we had a pallet of turkeys on this truck, we had turkeys on this other car, but we hit the benchmark again. So that to me was motivating to know that, you know, my partner in the foundation, along with some of the volunteers and his friends and my friends, like we're committed.
hmm
So if we're that committed and we're hitting these goals, then there's no way that we can't reach the other goals that we have.
right.
So
Set
as it
bigger goals.
exactly.
Yeah.
So now we're in a position now where we understand we need to create infrastructure so this could go on for many years.
Hmm.
And that's at the point we're at now. Is we're at the point now where it used to be really, really hard for us to get press. You know, we used to reach out to ABC7, to Fox, to these news outlets that now reach out to us. You know,
Yeah.
now things are easier, and I realized why. You know, it was a big learning experience for me, and I realized that um, you have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
You know, you have to prove yourself in the sense of how committed you are.
Right.
And if you go out throughout the years and people see your commitment, people know, hey, he's valid,
Hmm.
and people
Right.
will help you. People will respect you. So
Right.
that's like the biggest lesson that I personally took from this organization. The biggest blessing was commitment. You know, it taught me commitment. It
Hmm.
taught me. I mean, there were days where I'll give you an example. 2016 Thanksgiving drive. I you know, I slept like 2.5 hours, went to go pick up turkeys, and after the event, I had to run back to the agency to edit this commercial, and I was there until another 2 in the morning, and then I slept for like 4 hours, and I had to go back to the agency the next day. So I mean, these are commitments that no one knows about, but these were also commitments that I made to myself. That, you know, if
Right.
I'm going to be involved in this organization, I have to commit, and I can't say no because I have work.
Right.
And I think now that lesson has been taught to me, and now I understand how valuable and how important commitment is, because
Yeah.
during a span of time that commitment will pay off.
Oh, definitely, man. Yeah, and then but it also like that encourages you, man. When you hit those benchmarks, when you hit those milestones, those like goals that you didn't think you're gonna hit, that feeling, you
Oh
capture
yeah,
that feeling, man.
yeah,
And that fuels you to keep going as well.
absolutely. You know, I think it's very contagious, and I think
Right.
what's even more contagious is seeing the people at the event,
Hmm.
because they become like family, man. I
Right,
mean,
right.
we're spending, you know, we're spending basically our Thanksgivings and Christmas are for the people.
Hmm.
Like that's my Thanksgiving. Like I don't ask people to give me Christmas presents. I ask them to donate to the organization because we need.
Right, right.
One of the best conversations I had was last year. It was a lady at 6 in the morning standing in line. I was like, like there was already a line at 6 in the morning for turkeys, and these were elderly people. Um, and I remember having a conversation with her, and I just said good morning to her. I said thank you for coming, but you know we're gonna open at 10 in the morning. She's like, oh no, it's fine. So I decided to ask her, like, you know, what was her motivation to come up this early, and she said, I'm on SSI. I believe it's, you know, it's like Social Security, And she says, I get about 700 a month, 500 goes to rent, and then I have 200 to survive for food.
Oh my gosh.
So she said, a turkey will make my Thanksgiving, not only mine, but the people I live with.
Right.
And that to me was just like, that's the reason why we have to keep going. And not just, help them during Thanksgiving, because there's a lot of people suffering, but in silence.
Right.
And I feel like if we all come together and we have our right resources, we could literally, I won't say end the problem, because there'll always be problems. We could definitely be more creative and find solutions.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Because we're just me and Tito, we're just regular people. Like we work, we have jobs. We have, like, he has a family. He's a diabetic. Like, he has energy. Like, you have no idea. He's a go-getter. We're just average people doing this.
And there's so many people just like you,
Yeah.
You and Tito, that like really want to make a difference, but that just get over that hurdle of like, well, I don't know where to start. I don't know how to start. What would you say for people like that? Like, how would you encourage them to go out and do whatever it is that they feel pressed on their hearts to go do?
You know what? This may sound cliche, but there was a great quote that Will Smith said, and I saw that quote in 2013. He says, you lay a brick a day, and then, I think in 10 years you have a wall. And that's basically it, just lay the perfect brick. And I think for us, what we did correctly was we really went out to serve people, like that's why Tito's the mayor of Long Beach. Everybody knows him because he took the time to know people. He took the time to respect people and say, hey, listen, I understand you're going through something. I can't help you solve it completely, but here's something to help you. So people that want to get involved, they don't have to find an organization to get involved. They I think one of the key principles is that you want to do it, right? So if you want to do it, go help your neighbor out. Go help the person down the street out. You don't have to join this organization to help. Like, there's no rules or laws. You could help by yourself. Right. And once you start doing that, people start knowing you, and therefore you start realizing who needs more help and how to help you.
But
that that same principle falls in anything, in any career, in any endeavor that you have. Is just start, and, little by little, but the best that you can.
And build relationships, man.
Exactly.
Like, just value those relationships, man, because you never know, who they'll put you in front of, who they'll put you in touch with, that you can make a huge difference in that person's life, or vice versa. They make that huge difference in your life too, man.
Yeah.
Couple more questions. First question is, what do you really see as what's next for you guys? I mean, I know you have these events that you do around the holiday times, around school time and stuff.
Yeah.
What are some ideas, if you don't mind sharing, some things that you have in the vision for Local Hearts in the next coming years?
Absolutely, man. And I want to say thank you for asking me that question. It's a question that not a lot of people ask, so I am grateful for that question. Of course. What we do and a lot of organizations do, and I'm going to be quite frank with you, they're Band-Aids, okay? And sometimes with a Band-Aid, we're able to heal a wound. But the reality is, as much gratification I get to have people for the back to school drives and the big celebration, and for Christmas to see the kids happy, the reality is they shouldn't be there next year. Mm-hmm. My goal is to get their family out of that situation so they're not waiting in line for an hour and 2 hours. Right. So with that being said, it's not that I don't want them there. It's just that I want them to improve and be better. And then now for them to be, social agents of change in their community. So what I have in mind is creating a program. It's a 5-year goal. It's to basically franchise our van nationally.
Love it.
We're working on getting our first van. It's a Local Hearts Foundation van. And basically what we plan to do is to serve the elderly people with food, to help them out. And then 2, create jobs within the community, high-paying jobs, great-paying jobs within the community. For instance, one of the biggest issues that America has is sanitation. Yes, we're very clean, but compared to Asia, like we're really behind. I mean, the amount of taxes that we pay in California, the red paint on the sidewalk should be, as the cleanest, brightest red it should be. It shouldn't be faded. So what I plan on doing is to somehow, some way, use our van and make it into a mobile sanitation unit, where now we could partner with the cities, the local cities, or local businesses that say, hey, this is a local business. We want this to be clean. And for us to pay our employees the same members of the community a very, very competitive wage. I'm talking about, $30, $35 an hour, to
Yeah.
clean. And, who isn't going to doing a great job with, and especially when you're giving benefits. So
Right.
instead of paying people minimum wage, I definitely want to be able to have the same people within the community clean their community and be part of that partnership and growing. So that's my ultimate plan. Because if I'm able to do that within the next 5 to 10 years, then I know that not only are we going to impact more people, but we're going to be able to recycle the dollar spent within the community.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, that is so awesome. I mean, not only just, one, helping people who are in need now with they need food, they need resources now.
Yeah.
And then also helping them long term by providing jobs that in turn help their community out.
Exactly.
And fuel that cycle, man. That is so awesome. That's such an awesome vision to have, man.
Yeah. It's pretty ambitious, and a lot of people, they don't see it, but it's okay,
A lot of people don't see it. Did you see that you'd be here 10 years ago?
No.
When you first, not at
all.
Along with Tito. Exactly.
Not at all. I mean, it's beautiful, man. We have amazing partners, like Nick Diamond, who has donated, so much to Local Hearts. We're so grateful for that guy. We're so grateful for Big Sleeps. We're so grateful for our volunteers, Karina, Ivan, Alex, Abigail. These are the people. These are the, it takes a machine. It takes a team. And if you were to see how much work goes in behind the scenes, just to like launch an event or just to do something, it takes a team of committed people. So I'm extremely grateful. And I never, honestly, if you were to ask me this question 5 to 10 years ago, I would never imagine myself here.
Where you're at now.
Yeah.
And so, the sky is the limit, man. It's just, you never know where it can go 5, 10 years from now, having that van on a national level, who knows, the international level someday, perhaps.
Absolutely. I have a bigger plan in mind. It's a recycling venture. Eventually I want to tap in for reusable resources. So one of my mentors is a NASA scientist, and he has this technology. He actually owns a patent for a gasification unit. So I'm trying to talk to him and figure out a way within 5 to 10 years from now, how can we, if in 5 years we expand these vans, right? In 10 years, how can these vans do like trash pickup, right? And we pay people for their trash. Mm-hmm. And in turn, we recycle the trash and make money. So everything I think of 5 to 10 years is all about creating a symbiotic relationship and naturally having it recycled within the community. So I would love to show you the blueprints and the plans,
Absolutely, man. And we'll have to, I know this is our first time really chatting. We had a brief phone call to set this up, but no, man, I really do want to come and meet you guys in person as well.
Absolutely.
And honestly, that was my last question is I know, is how can people like myself, other people watching this video, how can they get involved? I mean, I know you can donate at the website, localhearts.org. Is that what it is? Localhearts.org?
Localheartsfoundation.org. You can also donate your services, if you're a doctor, volunteer. If you're a lawyer, if you're an accountant, if you, whatever you do, whatever your trade is, that's valuable. You can donate that, and we can link people together, because there are people that need your help, your services, right? And then number 3, if you know someone who's in the position to help us out, like, please connect us. So it doesn't have to be monetary as much as we would like it to be, just because it helps us fund our foundation and our programs. Like, you contributing as a human person, that's enough for us.
Right. And volunteering, of course,
absolutely.
For the events and everything as well.
Cool.
So
our volunteer roster is growing, and I was looking at the numbers after the back to school drive, and I was like, wow, we have 200 something committed volunteers ready to go.
Man.
Ready as soon as the email says they're committed. I had
there.
Sorry, I know we've been talking forever. I just want to share this. We had people flying from Chicago for our Christmas drive last year.
That is awesome, man.
From Chicago, they landed at the airport and came straight to the event. Like, we have fans, and not only fans, because like they call me and they say, hey, we love what you do. We support what you guys do. They're out in Pennsylvania, So I'm starting to see that what we're doing is contagious. Mm-hmm. It's contagious, and we're connecting with the right people. And I'm excited. I really am excited for the next 10 years to see where we
Right.
could take this. Because I know
Yeah.
if we're able to do this in 10, I know with the power of our volunteers and the minds of our volunteers and the help of our volunteers, I know we could take this to a whole nother level in another 10.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's awesome. So yeah, what's the next event that you guys got coming up?
We're doing a event for a street vendor. Karina is running point on it. She met this amazing woman who works extremely hard. She's a street vendor. She has kids, and we're putting an event together for her to bring out the community and support street vendors. So that's going to be really exciting next weekend. And then we have Thanksgiving and Christmas. So
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
lot on the plate.
Those are the big ones. So yeah, I
Yeah,
know
yeah,
it's
yeah.
the fourth quarter is going to be pretty big for you guys here.
Oh, it's the
A
best
lot going
quarter.
on.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
A lot of smiles, you know.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of, yeah. So that's awesome. So yeah, everybody watching, please follow a Local Hearts on Instagram, on Facebook,
Yes.
like them on Facebook.
Yes.
Check out their website, localheartsfoundation.org. If you got money you're willing to donate money, donate time, donate your services, volunteer. You can sign up to volunteer on the website,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, you
Yeah,
can. You know, the simplest thing they could do is just share. You know, just share who we are.
Awesome.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, hey man, I appreciate you, HJ. It means so much. Thank you so much for letting me interview you, man.
Absolutely. It's been
I'm
an
looking
amazing
forward
time.
I'm looking forward to meeting you guys in person.
Oh, yeah.
and helping out and serving in
Yes.
any way that I can, any way that you guys need me to. Please share, like it, share. Everybody following, everyone who's watching. We appreciate it, all of it. And yeah, and follow Local Hearts, and we'll be in touch here. So
Absolutely.
HJ, man.
It's been an amazing time on Klowd9. So I appreciate
Klowd9,
it,
I
man.
appreciate
Thank you.
it. All right, thanks, man.